Well, hello and welcome to today's lesson on likening the scriptures unto me. Unto who? Unto you. And I got this one started with a little music. Do you like my dancing? Woo, pretty fancy. You should see me when I'm off camera. Anyway, today, if you recognize that music, what movie was that from? I'm sorry, I can't hear you. Yeah, Mission Impossible. So today we are going to look at that word, impossible. And how we're going to do that is we're going to start out with a scriptural account in the scriptures, and we're going to be in Exodus. We're going to be in Exodus chapter 3, verses 7 through 14. I suppose I could have written that up there for you, but I didn't, so just have to listen, pay attention. All right, now, this story I know you've probably heard before. In fact, you've probably seen it enacted on the big screen, on the movie. You see, this is the story of Moses. And in this particular part, we've got the children of Israel who are under extreme bondage in Egypt. Pharaoh, right? And the Egyptians have them as slaves. And the Lord says in verse 7, I have surely seen the affliction of my people which are in Egypt, and have heard their cry by reason of their taskmasters, for I know their sorrows. So the people were crying to the Lord. They were having these heavy burdens placed on them, and they wanted deliverance. They wanted the Lord and were crying to him for help. And the Lord says in verse 8, and I am come down to deliver them out of the land of Egypt, of the Egyptians, and to bring them up out of that land unto a good land, and a large land, one that is flowing with milk and honey. And in verse 10, he says, come now therefore, and I will send thee unto Pharaoh, that thou mayest bring forth my people, the children of Israel, out of Egypt. Now, who was God talking to? He was talking to Moses. I will send thee unto Pharaoh. And Moses, right? I love this response. Moses in verse 11 says unto God, who am I, that I should go unto Pharaoh, and that I should bring forth the children of Israel out of Egypt? Like, not me, no way, not going to Pharaoh. And like hundreds and thousands of people, you want me to deliver them? Okay, this is like you going to President Barack Obama and saying, I want you to let all the people that hate their jobs go free. Yeah, kind of puts it into perspective, huh? Well, in verse 12, the Lord says, certainly I will be with thee. All right, and kind of Moses was like, okay, good, but now, okay, I'm going to go tell the people about this. And in verse 13, Moses says unto God, behold, when I come unto the children of Israel, and say unto them, the God of your fathers hath sent me unto you, and they shall say to me, what is his name? What shall I say unto them? So it's like, who should I say sent me to do this? And I love, this is it, verse 14. This is the key right here. This is the nugget. And God said unto Moses, I am that I am. And he said, thus shalt thou say unto the children of Israel, I am hath sent me unto you. Now, this is what I want to focus on. All right, so what I did is I went like, way back. I went way back and found the Hebrew word that was in the original Bible. And the original word is this one right here. Yeah, I can't really say that. I'm not Hebrew. So I have a friend with me. He's going to pronounce it for us. So let me get him on the line right here. All right, you ready? Here's how you say it. Okay, you got that? One more time, just for, okay. Yeah, sure, yeah. All right, so that word in Hebrew is very interesting when we drill down. All right, so here we go. You see that's on both sides. What this is this is the singular pronoun for the verb to be. All right, so first person singular, I. So I will be. I will be. Same on both sides, it's the same word. This word right here, Asher, now this is a pronoun that has 4 different words associated with it. Who, which, where, and that. See, we don't have this in the English language. We just have the 4 different words. In Hebrew, they've got Asher, which denotes all of those things. So when we break it down, it's kind of like, I will be who I will be. I will be which I will be. I will be where I will be. And then we come, I am that I am, is how it came into the Bible translation that we have. So now the other thing, okay, so this is really cool too to notice, is in Hebrew, there's only 2 tenses. There's either the perfect tense or there's the imperfect tense of the verb. Now in English we have the past tense, the future tense, the present tense, the I don't know, doesn't make any sense, right? In the English language, but in Hebrew there's only 2. There's the perfect and there's the imperfect. Now the perfect tense, when that is used, it is used to denote something that's already been completed. Something that's already been done. It's finished, it's over, like, oh, you know, it's completed. The imperfect tense, on the other hand, denotes something that is yet to be finished. It has not yet been completed. It is to be done in the future, right? So in this word, that is actually the imperfect tense, meaning it is yet to be. So what the Lord was telling Moses is, I am that I am. And there is yet to be this deliverance out of Egypt. And what I also want you to notice is that in this word right here, Asher, this is one of the 7 sacred names of God in all of Judaism back in you know, that day and age. And that name was very sacred, and in order to use this name, it could only be used to certain people at certain times, and there was a certain ritual that had to be gone through in order to use this name. So this name is very symbolic that God gives to Moses in these verses. So here we have Moses, right? And it looks impossible. He's got to go to Pharaoh and deliver these people, like, and you read Exodus and it almost begins to look impossible, right? Time after time after time, the Pharaoh is like, okay, you can go. No, you can't go. Okay, you can go. No, you can't. No. I mean, maybe he was a little bipolar. I don't know. But anyway, you know, it just started to look impossible. But here's what I want to focus on, is this word impossible. When you break it down, you've got I am possible. I am that I am. So God is the I am part of impossible. And possible is you and me, what we can do. So we have got to join forces with God. And in Luke chapter 1, verse 37, we're told, for with God, nothing is impossible. See, nothing is impossible because God does his part, I am, and we do our part, the possible. So yeah, what does this have to do with you and me right now in the year 2011? Well, here's what it has to do with. I am sure that there is something in your life right now that looks seemingly impossible. Whether that be a spouse, you know, it looks impossible that the spouse is ever going to come around. You have children that have made some interesting decisions, right? And it looks impossible that they're ever going to return and be their normal, happy self. There's a job that you just hate and just can't seem to ever get ahead financially. It just looks impossible to do this, right? All these things in your life, they're probably one big thing just looks impossible. But know what the word means. It means with God, the I am, all things are possible, and it is yet to be done. All right, it is yet to happen. The Lord is still working a mighty miracle in your life. So look at that. Ask yourself, what looks impossible? And then, am I going to the Lord? Am I partnering with him? Am I letting him do his part? Moses went time after time after time in front of Pharaoh and was always told yes and then no, or no flat out. And yet Moses just did what he could do. He just did what was possible for him. And finally, the impossible happened when the children were let free and could go and even escape through the Red Sea as Pharaoh was chasing after them because he changed his mind again. So with God, nothing is impossible. So I just want to leave that with you. I love this, and we're going to close here with a little more music so you can go out, check your life, and know that with God, nothing is impossible.